frustration with these last 3 departures just because of the timing, harder to prepare? I mean, you're speaking up about Maggie's role or Alexis's role, Nia's role, just days before. Is there just a greater frustration with the way this was handled this most recently?
I would just say that we've been dealing with adversity all fall and had to deal with some again before the season, and I think the team, our staff, has done a great job of handling it. And for us, we cannot wait to get on a play tomorrow and start our first weekend off in Arizona.
What is Tara's status at this point?
Right now, her status is that she's not eligible. They're still working through some things, but right now she's not eligible.
Is there any way at this point that she plays at least this first weekend?
No, she would not play with us this first weekend.
Based on what you've seen from all the newcomers that you've just added, do you feel like you have enough to parse your way through the season and compete this season?
Definitely. The new athletes that we just added, each one of them were added because we felt like they could help this team out, and I'm looking forward to see what they can do as well this weekend.
To go back to Tara for a moment, I know you can't speak on behalf of ASU certainly, but there's a little bit of a calculated risk here on their part, I'd say, in putting up a fight in this situation. I mean, she or the other players who left might voice their displeasure or voice why their reasons were for leaving. Is she interested in sharing why she chose to leave?
I wouldn't speak for Tara or for Arizona State. That's something you'd have to ask them.
What was the process in kind of selecting the players that you've added to the roster with the tryouts, and kind of, I guess, just what was the background on that process?
I think just looking for athletes that are obviously here on campus that could help this team. You know, we were a little short on numbers, so athletes that could come in and play some different roles for us. We have a couple in the infield, a couple in the outfield. We have a couple that can run well for us. So just trying to piece it together.
Coach, when you look through non-conference, you've got a couple of really tough weekends on the docket, but this one a little lighter on postseason too. So what are you expecting out of this first weekend?
I can tell you that we've been waiting to play. This group cannot wait to play. So for me, what I want to see from this team, and I've talked to this team since day one, of my expectation is for them to go out, one, settle in. I think the first weekend, regardless of what your situation is, it's getting your athletes to just settle in, because they got a lot of nerves, they've been waiting, they've been counting it down, and then from there to compete. And you know, we're going to make some mistakes along the way. It's just minimizing those mistakes and learning from them and being better. But this team, this is a tough group. They're gritty, they're hardworking, they've really come together nicely as a group. So I think you're going to enjoy what you see on the field from them.
Coach, obviously there's been a lot of that outside noise this offseason, specifically on social media amongst players and parents and everyone else kind of around in the equation. What's been the strategy among you and your coaching staff to kind of at least minimize that noise when you guys are out here specifically in practice?
I think the one thing that you'll find from all of us is the most important thing is when we're together as a group, and we don't allow outside things. There's so much that's out of our control, and you can't control that. All we care about is what we can control, and that is this team as a group united. With
Tara out, who is the catcher at this point?
I think you'll look to see April behind the plate. You'll be able to see Shay behind the plate. I also have another newcomer. Her name is Melyssa that you'd see behind the plate as well.
Would the other one then play first if it's April, and then Shay's at first, or vice versa?
And then I have some freshmen that have the ability to play first. I think you'd see a Hannah Gailey over there.
You mentioned Shay. She played a little bit in outfield last year. Also seen her at second. Do you expect her to play those positions as well?
When I think of Shay, I think Shay can do pretty much everything but pitch. And she could probably pitch a little bit when she was younger. It wouldn't surprise me. But I think you could very likely see Shay behind the plate. You could see her at second. You could also see her in the outfield. So I think it's just how we have our lineup set and what is it that works the best for us.
And then offensively, what have you seen from her so far? She got off to a good start last year, tailed off a bit, didn't really get a chance after that. What do you expect from her?
I think you're going to enjoy watching her at the plate. She's one that's really put a lot of time into her hitting this fall. And you could see from the beginning of the fall she struggled a little bit, but then towards the middle end, you could see she started to get things figured out, and you could see her power numbers increase. You could see just her plans at the plate were really good. So I look at Shay to drive some runs in for us and to get some runners on for her to bring them in.
How instructive do you think this first weekend is going to be, just in terms of seeing what you have in your pitching staff, in terms of the increased innings that they probably haven't seen before prior to this season, and also what that rotation will kind of look like?
Yeah, I think this first weekend, it's getting to see what our pitchers look like, what our infield looks like, our outfield, what our offense looks like, and how we want to work our lineup. I mean, I think this first weekend it's going to be, there's a lot of firsts. So it's seeing where we're at, and if there's adjustments we need to make them. But one thing I can tell you, this group has been working extremely hard. And to me, I think if they go and settle, I think you're going to really like what you see watching them play.
Has Haley moved to center full time?
Haley, you'd definitely see her in center field.
So it's Cherish and Lexi in the corners?
See Cherish out there, you'd see Lexi, you could see Shay. So even though our numbers are a little bit smaller, this group is pretty versatile. And so I have some different options. I don't think we can only do something one way. I have some different options to go to, which I like.
How challenging is it from a lineup standpoint outside of just the numbers, the average, the whatever, on base? You only have right bats. You can't construct, you can't get into all matchups really. If this is strictly it's an all-righty lineup, it makes I would imagine it presents quite a few challenges there.
It depends. I mean, I've coached lineups before where we had a ton of righties and maybe one lefty, had a ton of lefties, a couple righties. So I'm not too concerned about that. To me, we've been working with them and preparing with them for video and really getting to understand what our hitting plans are. So I think you're going to see these guys put some runs on the board, even if we are an all-righty lineup.
What have these last few months been like for you just personally? You prepare to be a head coach your whole life and probably don't anticipate that you're going to have to deal with a lot of the things you've had to deal with so far.
Sure. There's definitely been things that coming into it I didn't think I would have to deal with, but that's life. And, we're going to all be dealt with adversity, and I think it's just about how we go about it, how we handle it. And I am very proud of the staff. I'm proud of our athletes. I think they've handled it extremely well.
Is there any point in there where any self-doubt creeps in, or do you feel like the whole time that you're confident in the way that you're doing things and that it's going to work out in that way soon?
I know when I accepted this job, and my staff, they accepted this job as well. We have a vision, and it's clear, and even though we've had some changes, the vision is still there.
You mentioned the staff a lot. Megan has an interesting perspective, having gone through arguably a even worse transition situation. How much have you relied on her? How much of the players relied on her and her perspective, having gone through the Stanford situation in her past?
We actually haven't even had conversations about that. When I think of Megan, what I rely on is the fact that she was an unbelievable athlete that could play many positions. She could pitch on the mound, and then she could, bring in RBIs. What I've gone to with Megan is just her experience as a player and her mental toughness that she has, and how she can share that information with our athletes and allow them to be better in what they do. So I think of those types of things, is what I've gone to with Megan.
April's spent her career kind of trying to be ready for a moment here or there. What's your sense of how she's looking forward to a year where she's going to play a bigger role, and if there have been conversations about, hey, is it a different mentality, how she takes that on?
This is her moment, and she has completely embraced it. April, again, this fall has worked extremely hard on her offense and on her defense, and I think you all know that she has power, but I think what you're going to see with her is probably see a little more consistency. She'll have, more opportunities. She's going to be in the lineup every single day, so more opportunities, clutch opportunities to drive in runners. She's also worked really hard behind the plate, so I'm excited to see her lead us on the field. She's also done a great job of leading us off the field as well.
And then with Cherish, last year, 3 home runs and a 3 RBI double with 4 hits on the season. What kind of hitter does she profile as?
That's another one you're going to be excited to watch. Cherish has a lot of power. That's one that every time she connects, the way the ball jumps off her bat, it looks different than a lot of others. Cherish is very, very strong, and I'm excited for her to get those opportunities as well. She's going to get so many more opportunities this year, and I think she is ready to do some great things with those opportunities. Also, Cherish, you're going to see her roaming the outfield. She's got an extremely strong arm. I keep talking about it. I'm just waiting for the opponent to send on Cherish, because I know Cherish is going to do a great job in the outfield as well.
Do you have to change your approach to practice at all throughout the season just to try and limit injuries, or do you just kind of do your normal thing and cross your fingers that no one gets hurt?
Practice is normal, I think if we were to try to do something different, then that's when we would actually, something out of the norm would happen for us. So practice is practice. We haven't done anything different.
How excited are you to finally get in a game or two as in your first stint as a head coach anywhere?
I'm really excited. I came to Oregon for a reason, and I cannot wait. I can tell you, myself, our staff, our athletes, we're just counting down the days. We are ready to get on the plane tomorrow and go play. It just seems like it can't get here soon enough.
Certainly going to be a lot of opportunities for freshmen. Have any of them expressed a desire to redshirt?
Nope, everybody's ready to play.
There's a dedicated fan base here at Jane Sanders of all the season ticket holders. What part of your game are you most excited to show off here at home games?
I mean, really, you know, all facets of the game. I think that our fans will really appreciate how hardworking, how passionate, just how united this group is, and ready to get after it. You know, there's no pressure on this team, and so to me, if they can settle in, these guys are very athletic. They're going to do great things on the offensive side. I know we're going to have tough defense as well. So to me, it's just about settling in. And with that, I would say that about this team, next year's team, whatever it may be. That the hardest part about that first tournament or that first game is it's just all the jitters and them just relaxing and playing. But you know, I think we have the greatest fans, and I got to experience that a lot. We got to experience that a lot this fall, just with the numbers that came out for our fall games. And I can't wait to hear them this spring in March.
How do you feel about your pitching depth overall, and who you're going to really lean on for these?
I'm looking to all of them. You know, as we get into this weekend, it'll give us a better idea of how we're looking and what are ways that we want to go about things. But I look at all three of them as coming in and pitching a lot of innings for us.